Classes in session, college basketball hitting the book show Tuesday, January 6th. Ian Cameron, Connor Mack with you, ready to break down this Tuesday college basketball card. We're into January. We're into that groove now. We're Tuesday nights. We got a lot of good power conference games for the most part. We got a bunch tonight, so we'll jump right into it. This season, of course, like I said, starting five is what we call the first segment of the show, where we handpick 5 marquee games to talk about, which we think are 5 of the more like I said, headline games of the night. And we'll begin with an SEC matchup here with Georgia and Florida. We've got Florida 9.5-point favorites. 174.5 now is the total in this game. It has gone way up. But if you look at series history with these two teams, we've seen 5-0 to the over in the last 5, 7-1 to the over in the last 8. You would expect some points to be scored in this game. Georgia off a crazy game against Auburn, 104-100. They beat the Auburn Tigers at home in overtime. We'll see if they can continue the roll. It's funny, they've won 4 in a row, but they didn't cover in any of those games because they were laying points. We'll see if they can follow up that Auburn win. Exhausting because a lot of the Georgia starters, if you look at the box score, played 36 minutes, including, of course, Jeremiah Wilkinson, Blue Kane, both of them into the 36-minute range. So it's a bit of a tricky turnaround situationally. Florida hasn't looked great at times this year, 9-5. You figured, after the national championship, replacing their entire backcourt, there'd be some issues, and we have seen it. They lose to TCU as a favorite. They lose to Duke. They lose to UConn. They lose to Missouri on the road, 76-74 in their last game. This is a bounce-back spot here for the Gators. They have won and covered. By the way, they've won 9 out of the last 10 against Georgia, and they have covered in 5 of the last 8 matchups between these two teams. Definitely Florida spot. There's no denying that whatsoever. It's just a question of, is this number now a bit too high? Because it opened, 6.5, 7, and it's up to 10 now in some spots. I didn't bet a side. I bet the over at a better number than this. I mean, I got on the over this morning at 169.5. It's long gone, that number. It's like the betting markets know the final score, just hammering this thing over the total. I would be a little bit careful betting it now, but I do still lean to the over. C-Mac, what do you think? Georgia, Florida.
Yeah, maybe Georgia after the overtime crazy game that they're a little bit out of it. I have a tough time, a tad bit, with this game. There were some struggles with Florida after their loss at Missouri. I thought that was a great spot for Missouri this weekend. Another team like Georgia hasn't covered a couple as of late. Maybe there is a bunch of points in Georgia's defense. One thing is, if these defenses are a little bit better, protect the rim, because these teams are bad shooting teams. I know they get up and down, but they don't shoot the 3 well going through it. They get to their free throw. Georgia does get to the free throw line. I wanted to touch on that. Second, 22 makes, 29 attempts at 7th. So that's pretty good, 75%. So that always stopping the whistle and getting a bunch is good. And Florida, pretty good as well. Basically 19 makes, 27 attempts right there. So I just thought the number was too high with the total. I think it's been a little bit inflated on some of these teams in the non-conference that they played, like Colgate, all these kind of cupcakes that they have. But in the end, I just say that the win for Georgia, the OT with Auburn, and the spots here for Georgia off the loss for a big, big win. But when these two teams play, I think they're more similar here, that they're pretty close in this game. And I lean to the points. I just think there's a bunch more games we could get to make money, but I definitely lean the points with Georgia.
Yeah, the format with the show today, for example, we're doing the 5 big games at the top, and then we're going to get into all the other games that we like from a betting
Yeah,
perspective
we'll touch on
right
the
after
games.
teams that we actually bet. But we always want to give you
Bet.
some of the big games because I know the chat always asks, "Well, what do you think of this game?" If and it's always a big
Yeah, the
game.
big ones.
So that's
Yeah.
why we do the starting 5. The next game in the starting 5, this is a big one, absolutely. Duke and Louisville right around a pick 'em here in this game, and 61.5 total in this game. Louisville coming off the California swing. They beat Cal, but they lost to Stanford in the second game of that West Coast swing. Now back home in a bounce-back spot. Don't look now. Duke hasn't looked great the last few. They've still been winning. Don't get me wrong, but not impressive. I mean, Lipscomb, that was a it didn't take it took until the second half to wake up there. They lost to Texas Tech 82-81 at the Garden. They barely beat Georgia Tech, a very meandering Georgia Tech team, by 6 when they were laying 27.5. They barely beat Florida State by 4, laying 16.5. So, got concerns about what I'm seeing out of Duke. I am on Louisville, and I am concerned about Mikel Brown Jr.'s absence. Like, this is their point guard. This is their leader, and he's obviously not going to play, and obviously averaging 16.5 points per game. But you got Louisville in this big spot at home off a loss. Duke's looked a little vulnerable lately. Or maybe Duke was just playing possum with everybody and going through the motions, and now they show up, play their A game, because their A game is good enough to win here. Remember them going to Michigan State earlier this year, beating the Spartans on the road. So we know they're good enough, Duke, to go on the road and win. But, I like the spot for Louisville, off a loss to Stanford at home. Hopefully it's the Duke that's shown some cracks in the armor lately, and not a Duke that flips the switch and looks like they did against Michigan State when they went on the road and beat the Spartans in very impressive fashion. So I think you can make a case for both teams here, but I'm just going to make the case a little bit stronger for the home team here and the Pat Kelsey Louisville Cardinals. C-Mac, what do you think here? Duke, Louisville.
Yeah, this line too, opens basically 1.5. They don't know kind of what to do with their ones. Now it's going to pick them. Even Duke is now favored. Lots of money for them. You talked about the injury to Brown there with the back. There's also he's kind of been limited too, which has been big, with no Pryor. So I think they do have some depth. And if they come up big here, it'll be them shooting it. They shoot the 3 ball at a decent rate. So, and how do you come off the road trip a little bit, the West Coast? I know they've had some time, 3 days off or so. The Stanford loss was a good bounce back for Stanford after just scoring 40 points, maybe 2. They thought they'd play a little bit better. It wasn't enough for me to back them at all in that game. But yeah, this seems like a good spot. I can't get there here. I'd like to be on Louisville. I don't blame you. And now, like you said, you're definitely getting a better number in this game. I just think I want to fade Duke as well. I think I'm just going to wait. As more we get into conference play, I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities to do so, being big favorites. You know what I liked that didn't bet was Florida State. With them, they're so kind of erratic at times, that team, especially offensively, whether it's turnovers, but they were hitting some shots, staying in that game and cover that big 16.5, 17-point number. And Duke could find a way. I kind of agree with you. I want Louisville. It seems like the spot, but tough with those guys out, especially Brown out in this game. Yeah,
no, it is tough. Like I say, Louisville's going to have to shoot well. And maybe Duke was just, because of the opponent, they just were a little bit disinterested these last few games. And if they flip their switch and bring their A game, similar to the way they played this season against, a lot of the best teams they've played, like Michigan State, for example, Florida when they beat Florida, Arkansas, Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
They've played very well in these step-up games. That is my concern, but I'm still on Louisville here. I think
they get Louisville's still talented.
Yeah.
In this after the loss, this seems like a slam dunk. Maybe not slam dunk. Duke's kind of owned them a little bit too the last few years. We know the struggles with Louisville, the program, a little bit before they get going. But I think they're moving in the right direction. Coaching is there. Everything that I've gone through definitely, has been upgraded with this Louisville team and the players.
Yeah, no question about that. All right, we continue along here. Next up, it is Texas Tech and Houston. We've got Houston 6.5 point home favorites, 142.5 the total in this game. I might be barking up the wrong tree with the total move, but I think it could be a sneaky over. Now, bear with me. I know it's Houston. I know they can play defense, and I know they play slow. But I started to look more at the results when they've played any sort of decent team and any sort of good offensive team. They actually have given up points. Arkansas, Florida State. And you look at some of these games Texas Tech's played against some better teams, and it hasn't been that same Kelvin Sampson, lock you down, shut you down, suffocate you team defensively. It just hasn't been in a lot of these instances. And they've been going over the total as well. Arkansas, 94-85. Florida State game was 82-67. Tennessee was 76-73. They lost that game, gave up 76 points. Syracuse, 78-74. You know, in some of these games against all the better teams they've played, Houston, they've given up more points. And don't look now, Texas Tech is scorching offensively coming into this game. I mean, they're putting up monster points every single night. So my first thought when I looked at it was, holy shit, they're betting this thing over. It's moved a few points. And I'm like, why is that? You know, Texas Tech's not overly fast pace-wise. Houston's very slow. But Texas Tech's damn good offensively, very efficient, very lethal. And Houston's defense, they're shooting the three ball better than they have in the past, Houston. And they're not defending nearly as well, and especially in the step-up games against better teams. So I kind of talked myself into, hey, maybe this total move up is correct here with Texas Tech Houston. As far as the side goes, I'm off it. I mean, Houston at home is very difficult to bet against. 6.5. That being said, I'm impressed with Texas Tech. Impressed enough that I'm not going to take Texas Tech, but I do feel it's maybe a little bit of a discount here on Houston, only laying 6.5 at home. So I kind of lean Cougars, but I did bet this over. C-Mac, what do you think?
Yeah, Texas Tech. This is just not an easy game. What I've liked to see, because some of the depth that this team, I don't know if they kind of have, but you know, it was a lot of topping early in a lot of these games. And they got the easy cover. What were they laying? 12.5, a pretty good spot. Just that was Saturday, right? Yeah, Saturday, not Sunday.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm a Houston. I like them. I think this spot might be pretty good for them. But what I've liked the most is a little bit the more minutes, because they don't have a deep bench. I think Anderson has been really, really good, of course, kind of that second punch to Toppin, and been playing a ton of minutes. Even Atwell, these guys have been petty. They've been putting it in here. I think they'd be in it right away, you know. I got to see more from Houston. Obviously, they're very good. Is the defense maybe not as crazy as it's been the last few years? Yeah, but I think this is when we start seeing more and more when conference play gets going a little bit. A lot of, you know, even though these teams, like especially these schools, play a pretty good non-conference, but they play a lot of cupcakes as well. Yeah, I couldn't get there. I think, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Texas Tech keeps this game pretty tight.
Yep.
Yeah, close. I remember some of these games have been a little bit tight. I thought they won here last year. If I can't remember, I'd have to double check that. Last year at Houston, Texas Tech won OT game.
Yep. But
I'll have to look that up in this game.
Yeah. By the way, that's another thing that led me to the over. That game in Houston last year, Texas Tech and Houston, it was an over after regulation. It didn't.
Oh, was it?
Go over the total. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here, let me pull it up. Yeah, it got there.
Yeah.
It's good. But I think they kind of have the shooters and the slashers to be in it as much as, you know, I don't know how really deep they are. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Yeah, this is the show. Tires. Yeah, you know it by you bets. My guy Nicholas Handy, appreciate you, Mark. Yeah, I agree with that there. Yeah, Louisville needs Brown. I get it. I like it. Reginald, my man, Taylor. I'm not a big BC fan, but I kind of like them tonight. Appreciate that. Yeah, Duke, 0-4 ATS, all laying those massive numbers. The only win, I think, in their last 8 ATS was the win with Michigan State, basically. in that game where they were catching it. But of course, all the other ones, they've been laying huge lines. But PlayStation, my dude, great to see Nicholas Handy. Shout out to you, my dude. Appreciate the like and the repost for the show, as always, dude.
Appreciate
Shout out to
everybody.
you, my
Bayou
dude.
Bets, Nicholas Handy, of course,
Yeah.
Swag, Timothy, PlayStation gameplay. Like I said, everybody, we appreciate it. All right, Texas A&M and Auburn. Next up, we've got Auburn 6.5 point home favorites, 166.5 the total. Buckyball, man. I'm a big fan of the Bucky McMillan hire for Texas A&M. I am. Shoot a lot of threes. That's what you get from them. Play fast. That's what you're seeing. And so far it's been decent. 11-3. Now has the schedule been not the best? Oh, no question. I mean, their best opponent is what? SMU, and they lost that game. Florida State, Pitt. LSU. Hasn't been a overly challenging schedule. We're going to find out what they're made of here tonight against Auburn. But I'm definitely not rushing to bet against A&M because A&M's got. They can shoot the three ball. The 3-point defense is only 211 in the country for Auburn. They haven't been great defending the perimeter, Auburn, so far this year. So I lean A&M. I lean over too, but here's what's concerning to me about the over. It's that Stephen Pearl ripped his team for their defense after their last game. And I mean ripped them. I mean, he just called them right out for that Georgia loss and what they showed on the defensive end of the basketball court. I mean, I've got this one great quote he said after that game. One-on-one defense is terrible. We just continually work on it and let guys drive right around us. At some point, we've got to have an identity. My team's got to do a better job of finding out their identity defensively and taking some accountability in their one-on-one defense. I can't go out there and guard for them. So, geez. Yeah. So that's why I'm kind of pumping the brakes on betting the over. It's a high number, and maybe Auburn is going to, for one night at least, dig into better defensive play here at home. Because when your coach is that outspoken about how just pathetic you are guarding in your last game and defending, maybe they're going to bring it defensively tonight. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant here with betting over in this game. C-Mac, what do you think here? A&M Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn has been a little bit tough to figure out. Yeah, you're right. Both these teams, have been over kind of machines. But lately, except, the last few games, these totals haven't been that high, really.
That's the thing, right?
Auburn, yeah. But even A&M has had some, but they've been able to put up over 100, I think, maybe 5 or 6 times this year.
Keep in mind, that was Prairie View, A&M,
yeah,
East Commerce, A&M, East Texas A&M, and
Manhattan.
Yeah, different caliber of opponent here.
For sure. One thing with Auburn, watching their games too this year, it's like they beat, I believe, St. John's, NC State, but like the step-ups, Purdue, they lost. I remember Michigan, they got blown out. Arizona
was a loss. Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. They beat Oregon, which has their own kind of growing pains a little bit still. I don't think they're a great team. So 2 mediocre teams. I like what Texas A&M has done a little bit, so far. Do I love it? I think I got to see more. These are what I wanted. Was like yesterday, I found so much value in these dogs when I'm seeing them, and maybe, these kids are coming back from school. We've talked about soon. So that maybe that's a little lull there. These are big games, but in the smaller schools where already the gym's like, I wanted these dogs where I just see, like last night, they kind of all came through for me, where the teams like Nichols shouldn't be laying, points like that and teams like that. These are a little bit tougher. I kind of like A&M. I think they can hang around. It's just Auburn off the loss. It seems like a bounce back. Maybe if you look at them, these are what I always look at. You think they're going to play well. It's taken first half. It's just, we going to get some defense here, Vanna? A little D?
Stephen Pearl
slap the floor?
Yeah.
A little, maybe not. Maybe they're just going to run up and down the whole time. But yeah, I'm definitely kind of watch this. Maybe even take it live. And a lot with these, some neutrals, which we talk about to look later, but a lot of these teams haven't played a bunch of road games, and now we're getting into, different scenarios as we go on the next month or 2, 3 months, really, as we go on. So
All right, TCU, Kansas. This is our final game for the starting five on this edition of the show. We've got Kansas 7.5 point home favorites, 141.5 the total. I mean, situationally, you got Kansas off the road loss at UCF, back home. Feels like a Kansas spot. It definitely does. But I'll tell you this, TCU, after a bad start to the year, man, they have turned things around. They had the win against Florida back in November, the defending champs. They won against North Texas by 10. They beat Baylor in their last game.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Very good win. Like, Jamie Dixon's crew is playing good after a rough start to the year, and they have given Kansas some problems at times. So this one's tough because the situationals point to Kansas. Off the loss, at home, they roll by double digits at the Fog. Very capable of it. I also think Darren Peterson, is going to be maybe not as restricted. He's had the leg injury. They've been monitoring his minutes. He's been playing on a minutes restriction as well in the UCF game. That was the case. It sounds like Bill Self is considering removing the minutes restriction, and he's a gifted basketball player and a phenomenal scorer. There's no question about it. So if that's the case, and his minutes restriction, he does play more minutes tonight. That is a good thing for Kansas. And I'm kind of tempted by Kansas in the first half. Because I kind of think we could see them start strong here in this game tonight, coming off the line. I'd rather have that than the full game. So I'll give you a lean in that direction here. Not a strong opinion, but I have some interest in maybe Kansas -4 here in the first half tonight. C-Mac, what do you think? TCU, Kansas. By the way, TCU, not one true road game yet this year. Not one.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. That Florida was a neutral.
Yep.
And even the North Texas. When I always see teams like that, but everything else, like you're talking, like, this team's playing some pretty good basketball.
Playing well, TCU.
Like, when you see the numbers like this, it's just Kansas off a loss and how well they play, of course, at home. It's just not. It's loud, and they always play well there. But everything else kind of points. I mean, how good is Baylor, really? Even though that win was good there. I mean, they were small favorites, of course, in it. I like what Dix is. I think he's just a good basketball coach. You know what I mean? Throughout all these years. But yeah, the spot I don't love it. But everything tells me these teams, and Kansas has been a team, shooting the ball at times has been a problem with them. You know what I mean? We'll see. Peterson, like you talked about, and Trey White's been good. Council, these guys can get going. I think they're pretty good. So yeah, this is like one. It's like just a lean. I like can TCU do it? Or everything just tells me keep your money right now. Like if you lose, there's other games where it's like it's tough when you go through it, but I think they're just like check boxes where the certain spot, like a first road game like this, could be a little bit tough for them, even how well I think they played to start the year. Yeah,
I think there's some truth to that. Like I said, I could be walking into a little bit of a slippery, tough situation here if you were the TCU Horned Frogs with Kansas coming off the loss to
Horny Toads.
Yeah. All right, good stuff. On we go. All right, let's get into games that we like on the board that we have not gotten to yet. Let's throw out a quick one here. I'm on UMass in this game that's about to tip, +4.5. I took the Minutemen here, plus the points. Ohio, they won on a buzzer beater from half court against Eastern Michigan in their last game. I think that could be a little tough now to be dialed in from the very opening tip-off here against UMass. And UMass, I think, could be competitive here. It's been an up-and-down season for Frank Martin's team so far. But in this game here, I think +4.5. And Ohio sometimes, comes and goes at the defensive end for them, hence why this total's high. I think the over's worth a look, but now the problem is it's 160. It's climbed a lot, but kind of like UMass there. Did you touch that game, UMass, Ohio?
No, the inconsistencies a little bit with UMass have kept me off. But I got to say, I don't know. Ohio at home, I think, is pretty good here. A lot of love for UMass, too. This line's stretched out. We've seen a little bit buyback. Got to 4, even 4.5, and this has kind of came back to 3.5. A little bit, so maybe a little bit more respected money. But a lot of UMass love in this game going through. even the tickets, the money, the whole shebang that we go through in these games.
All right, all rapid fire what I like. I like St. John's Butler, one of my favorite totals. It's gone up, but I like it. St. John's Butler. St. John's going to score. They're going to bounce back. They had a rough offensive game in the loss to Providence. Butler doesn't guard anybody. They couldn't guard me or Connor Mack right now, this Butler Bulldogs team. So St. John's going to – you could even go St. John's team total over if you like, but I think Butler will score because they're at home, right? At Hinkle, I think they will score, but I think they're going to give up a ton as well here to St. John's. Coming off a loss, by the way, at home against Providence. So I like that over 164.5 there in that game. I'm on
no Butler. Carolina. You don't like Butler real quick?
Yeah. Not with St. John's off a loss. I don't trust St. John's to lay the points, but like I said, Butler is just not defending at all. I can't take a team that's not defending right now, not guarding anybody.
Yeah,
and that's Butler right now. That's why I went with the over. I like South Carolina. I think they can be competitive on the road against LSU. Getting a 7.5, 8 points there in that game. What else? I took GW plus 3.5 against Dayton. Dayton to me doesn't look great. We saw them lose to. They actually did beat Loyola Chicago, but barely over the weekend. George Washington's playing pretty well. I think that's got one possession game written all over it, so I like that side. I almost took Wisconsin because I don't trust UCLA on the road, and I faded UCLA with Iowa the other night. But like I said, I like the over more with UCLA and Wisconsin. Wisconsin, another team. I took them as a home dog against Purdue. They don't defend. They just don't play defense, and that's been the Greg Gard's been bitching about it all year, and nothing changes. Still don't play much defense. They still give up a ton of points. And UCLA is a better offensive team this year than they've been in the past. Donovan Dent, getting the New Mexico transfer in here has certainly helped. And their defense, UCLA, hasn't been nearly as tight. So I think that game can get over the total with UCLA, Wisconsin. I took Tennessee double result against Texas, where it's Tennessee lead the game at half and win the game. Rather than laying the 9.5, 10, I think that is definitely, like I said, a bet worth looking at. Tennessee off the loss to Arkansas. And I just don't see anything I'm in love with Texas right now. I think it's going to be a work in progress there for Sean Miller with the Texas Longhorns. So I think it's a good spot there for Tennessee. You can lay the 10 if you want, but I opted to go with the Tennessee double result in that game. A couple more here in the West Coast games. Fresno, San Jose, that total's gone up. I could see it. I think Wyoming's a good side, too, tonight against UNLV. They're only laying 3.5 at home. Don't know if I trust the Rebels there on the road. Wyoming in a bit of a bounce-back spot here tonight against UNLV. Pretty tough home court, as we know. Wyoming historically has been good. Now, I usually like Wyoming as a home dog. That's really where I love back in Wyoming, when they're a home underdog. They're a home favorite here, but I still think they can win by enough of a margin here against UNLV to cash a ticket. So I'll still lay the 3.5 here with Wyoming in that one. CMAC, other games on the board that you like that you've bet. What do you got?
Shout out my guy, Woo Woo Woo, Kenny Woo Woo. Shout out to my dude, Wu Tang, up in here. Always good to see you, my dude. It's been a minute. Yeah, let's get, that UNLV game. Yeah, that's where I want my Wyoming more as a dog. I think they've looked pretty good, though, Wyoming. We'll see. This should be a good one. UNLV haven't been impressed. I think they've looked a lot better lately. They are 2-0 on the road. I saw that game at Stanford that they pulled out, but it's just been inconsistent with UNLV. And weirdly, a team that's had success in UNLV. Strange enough. Not many teams do.
Well, there 3 in a row they've won. Yeah,
they've played well. I remember I try to remember all these games. When we do this year in and year out, kind of where teams will play well, and not Flea Mathis. Dude, what up to you, my dude? Banks, what's going on? Great to see you. Hit the like button for us, guys. All right, I'm on the other side of here. I want to fade George Washington in this game. I know the shooting could get them, big in this game. And Dayton, the one thing I still am waiting on information I'd like to have, he hasn't played the last couple, is Letang for Dayton, which is pretty big. I know he's missed the last two, but I just like the home spot. You're right. They haven't been great, and they haven't been really good against the number. I have this pulled up lately, right?
Yep.
Dayton. Now this is shorter. A lot of love for G-Dubs playing really well. I still don't think they're very tough, but they definitely have the scorers and could get hot from three. But I think this is a Dayton game here at home. I laid the 2.5 with Dayton in this one. All right, let's get to a dog that I like, which is a little bit tricky. It's moved a little bit here from what to 6, down to 5. I got the 6. Minnesota. I'm going to take them. They have struggled with Iowa. Looked really, really good, and I thought it was a pretty good spot for Iowa against UCLA. You know, the other day on Saturday. Is this team playing defense, Romano? This Iowa team a little bit different after all those years.
They are. That's another thing. UCLA. That's why I like the over too. I think Iowa's defense is legit. Wisconsin doesn't play any, so I think UCLA is scoring, but I just think Wisconsin is as well at home. So there you go. That's
I like Wisconsin. I don't mind that at all. But I'm on Minnesota here. I think it could be tough. This is a team that I thought's played a little bit better of late. They had the win at Northwestern. They've kind of been dealing with some stuff. Big win for Iowa. And maybe they go and get the win. I'm banking on Minnesota a little bit, +6. And lastly, this is kind of just one of the games. We talked about Butler. I've leaned that. I haven't bet that game. I thought you talked the over. A little bit.
Butler,
the Butler game. Yeah, the over for them. That's a lean for me there. But I got to take Kent State in this spot. A lot of Bowling Green's played really, really good. You talked about the UMass. They was just about to go. The win that they just had and some of the scoring. But I'm ready to fade them here. Two teams, similar records, 11-4, 11-3. Bowling Green's been pretty good on the road. I just think at home, Kent State, these are spots where I love to take them. And it's a short number. I wouldn't, with this team, I wouldn't want to be laying 6 points or 7 points. We talk about it all the time, where we have a lot of those in the other games. Like we're talking about, some of the bigger games. There's 6.5, 7.5, and college basketball. Those go crazy at the end, especially if it's somewhere tight and they want to foul, unless you have a big lead and you can kind of get in that range. Next thing you know, put up 3, foul, the whole fucking thing that drives me crazy. Maybe to an early grave in college basketball. But yeah, I like Kent State here. I think this is just a pretty good spot for them at home and running everything. Maybe they don't have the defense they've kind of had the last few years, so that could keep Bowling Green in it. But offensively, they've looked pretty good. And even the numbers shows Bowling Green, like defensively, has been. But I always have to go through, maybe that's a fact because everything we've seen through all these games, but it's still so early and they play so many bad teams, and it's kind of like, you really have to run through those, every day, especially going forward. That's why more and more I'm like, not that I'm betting college basketball crazy, but I just like to sit with these teams and a little bit that have played well or something, but they played a whole lot of nobodies. But I think Kent State here, -2.5. I'll take them at home. But
there you go. All right. Those are the CMAC looks for this Tuesday college basketball slate. I'm trying to see if there's any other games that.
You got anything else?
I haven't bet any of these, but here's what I looked at. I looked at Michigan Penn State over. I just worried that Penn State wouldn't score enough in that game. But 166.5. I still lean kind of the over there. Michigan Penn State in that game. I mean, Michigan, I'm not stepping in front of them. They're a machine right now. But I just said, you know what?
I know.
On the road in conference play, not ready to lay that many points with Michigan, even though, I have no interest kind of fading them either. I did lay it with Akron, crazy as it is to say. Off a loss. They could absolutely destroy Central Michigan, I think. Central Michigan is probably ripe for the picking here. Akron's off a loss in their last game against, I believe it was Miami, Ohio. Yes, it was 76-73. We already saw them beat Eastern Michigan by 21 at home in MAC conference play. If you can beat If you can beat Eastern Michigan by 21, Eastern Michigan's a hell of a lot better than fucking Central Michigan. So I think this gets ugly, I think, for Central Michigan. So I looked a little bit to Akron there, laying the big points in that one. And I think that's about it. There's nothing really I had much opinion on in the rest of the games that have not been mentioned yet. But, Syracuse, Georgia Tech. I mean, if I had to, it would be Syracuse. I don't think Georgia Tech's any good. I just don't think they're very good. So, but Syracuse laying on the road with Syracuse, it's not my favorite thing to do. Lean Syracuse, but no, I'm not getting involved there with them.
Yeah, hit us with you guys have any questions on any of the other games. Rip them right now. Let us know. Mark,
last chance because we're going to sign off in a minute. So if you got a question on anything we didn't mention or didn't talk about,
hit us with them here. What about this game? I didn't have a ton with it. Georgetown, DePaul. You have anything here? Think Georgetown going there and win?
I still think Georgetown's the better team.
Yeah,
but they've been erratic, been up and down. They really have. And DePaul's got the home court on their side. But I kind of think there's a little value with Georgetown 2.5, 3 as an underdog. I lean Georgetown there.
Yeah, hit us with a couple more. I'll rip through a few if you got any questions on games. I got to go back. I think Nick, our dude, put one
Nevada
in there.
at home. Someone mentioning Nevada, San Diego State. San Diego State's, I think, the better team. I still think San Diego State's better than Nevada, but it is a tough spot. It is a tough spot with the overtime.
Yeah.
They played that marathon overtime game with Boise State in their last game. Maybe Nevada gets them. I still don't think Nevada's great. I don't.
They keep winning. Though I have been shocked.
Yeah.
I don't know just like how well they played to start the year. They lose to UC Davis, and then I think they lost to Washington. I was on a neutral at Washington. I'm like, I think this is more of the team. And then San Diego
State's given Nevada problems too, and there's definitely.
They've definitely owned them. Yeah, Nevada's been, of course, the basketball team's been down. I'd say a little bit too the last few years, but yeah, I mean at San Francisco, they won. Washington State's a little bit down. Duquesne, the Boise State, I thought was a big win. They shot the ball. And then just these wins are gritty. Colorado State, who is down a little bit. Fresno, a little bit better, but 66-65. This total's crashed. When I see a team score that much, I want the under. We've just gone down here to 141.5. So I don't know how much Nevada's going to push the pace a little bit. San Diego State as well have been going over, I think 3 straight. 4 of 5, 5 of 6. A little bit. Their offense and some of their numbers defensively have kind of been not where to go. Do they get back to the team that I think, in conference type play will lean to the under? Definitely not the other night, and Boise wants to play, games to the under. That was wild. 110, 107. I watched the whole thing there. That was crazy. Crazy. But maybe San Diego State's sleeping here a little bit. They've only played one road game. They've won. Maybe Nevada first half. It's just trust them. They've played better than I definitely thought, like you talked about. Played well at home. When I kind of looked at this, I thought under. I thought Nevada even early first half. Basically, I think first half you can get them just to win here. I have to double check the number. They're laying a half a point. You could probably get it just as a pick 'em. Just to if you wanted to be safe. But anything else? Can Tennessee cover at home? Tell them, Babano.
Yeah, I like Tennessee. I took double result. If you don't have access to that, I would say take a chance laying the 10. I think they could romp Texas. I like the spot for them coming off the loss to Arkansas. So it's Tennessee or nothing there for me. The big man there for Georgetown may be back. It's true. Iwuchukwu might be back for Georgetown tonight. So we'll see if that's the case. That certainly would help their cause. Yes, Connor Mack likes Minnesota. They're boxing Minnesota. Log. Yeah, he likes Minnesota. I've got nothing there, but C-Mac likes Minnesota at the barn plus the points. And yes, I like the over in the Michigan game. Not a big bet, but a little bit on the Michigan Penn State over.
By the way, yeah. I mean, do they get their team total as well? I mean, this team, it's going to be a little bit different. I love to see these teams who are so good, which they really are, and how it just goes a little bit. Maybe not a game like this, but in conference play,
Right.
where you're going to see the losses, maybe start to lose, but they've been that fucking good so far to start the year. I mean, it seems the way they put up points. I mean, their team total is what, 93 and a half. They're 94 and a half. I mean, man, it seems like them getting to 100 is pretty good. Can Penn State do anything here at home? Huge numbers on the road, laying points.
It is. We're going to find out. But is Michigan just going to keep trucking along and rolling and just, smacking the shit out of teams? We're going to find out tonight. Whereas if they're in a tough battle with Penn State tonight, maybe it's a sign that we start maybe going against them now as we get into Big Ten play, and maybe teams are a little bit more, they know the tendencies, coaches know each other and the styles you're going to play. So that's something to keep in mind, and it'll be a good indicator for whether to bet on or bet against Michigan moving forward, I think, as these bigger favorites, how they play tonight in this game against Penn State for sure. Great stuff, guys. Great show. We appreciate. Sorry for being a little bit late here today.
Yeah, running around a little bit.
Running around. It's all good. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Shout out to everyone that's joined us. Let's wrap this thing up. It's time to get out of here. Best bets. C-Mac, we'll start with you. What do you like for best bet?
Best bet here. I'm taking him a lot of love. Bowling Green. Give me Kent State -2.5. Short home favorite. Lay it -2.5. Kent State. Best bet.
All right, my best bet. Well, you know what? I'm going to give you, now that it's come down a bit, I'm going to give you a game that now it's come down to a point where I can bet the money line -145. This is actually a game I haven't even talked about. We haven't even talked about this game yet. We just missed it, and I do like
hey now.
Good side. Give me Oklahoma State money line -145 against UCF. UCF falls flat after beating Kansas, I think. I think it's a tough spot for them going on the road. Oklahoma State at home. They're a very good offensive team at home. And I also like it from the Oklahoma State standpoint. UCF off the big win. Oklahoma State off the blowout 22-point loss to Texas Tech. And Texas Tech's a very good team. I think Oklahoma State will bounce back, play a lot better here tonight at home against UCF. So let's give you that. That is a bet for me. Oklahoma State -145 money line versus UCF. I think UCF falls flat off the win against Kansas, and it's a big bounce back spot at home for Oklahoma State after the loss to Texas Tech. So there you go. Oklahoma State money line, best bet.
It seems like a classic spot, and that's what move where UCF huge win, and then come back and kind of lay the egg on the road there. And we talked about the end. I haven't bet. I just wanted to look a little more. I forget to mention earlier. I mentioned it's a lean for me is Boston College. I don't know if I get there, but I've definitely been looking at it. I wanted to dig into it a little bit more. That is it. By the way, the games are up for the videos I put up. Of course, we did the show 2 games, but I put the videos up.
Game video
individuals
clips for the college football playoff semifinals. Yes, from yesterday's college football show. Check them out.
It is here. We're just 2 days away. Thursday, Friday. Become a member. We will have college basketball. We'll be back on Mondays, of course, Tuesdays. And down the line, we could do something else. Maybe we'll do shows and Thursday. We'll figure that out. Once college basketball maybe gets really going, we get to February or March, we'll put another regular show somewhere. We could kind of fit in. This man over here is a busy guy a little bit.
Yeah, we'll extend.
Even I could run it.
March is definitely the time we'll do that. When we get to
we'll add shows. Yep. But shout out to all definitely the members. Become a member if you want. It's going to really turn to college basketball as always. Wednesdays and Fridays. Love the show. See if we can stay rolling. NFL, which is time. Playoffs are here. Now they are here. No more fucking around. We'll see these teams that have not. I don't know. They've had really, really good years. Broncos, Patriots, Jags. Who's for real? Who's not? That's just the AFC. So, yeah, I'm ready for it.
Make sure you remember, because we're going to break it down on the members only, Hitting the Book show Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, Wild Card Weekend. Full preview for you on Friday. And also tomorrow, make sure you remember to join us tomorrow as well, because tomorrow's a members-only show, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. So thank you for being a member of the channel. We appreciate it very much. Hit the like button on the way out. Great stuff. Shout out to everyone
Coin.
last time.
Harbaugh, we were just talking about that right before we jumped on. I know. Whew. It's getting stale. We were just saying his exit interview, even at halftime. I was telling him at halftime when the interview was like
mentally beaten down, like just really almost like he sensed the end could be near. And sure enough, here it is. That it's just too many. This is a disappointing year. I know they had injuries, but to not even make the playoffs, that's a huge disappointment for them. All the blown
huge.
Leads. I think he finally paid a price for all the blown leads too. There's been too many of them, way too many. And at some point, it falls on the coach. It does. Yeah.
I wonder if they go to the playoffs, they get it. They win a couple. Then maybe he stays. Like that kick just ended it for him. Yeah. Like that might be just the final straw in a crazy ending to that game, which we talked about on Friday and had it. Good old Ravens just somehow. Lamar Jackson did play all right, but he's in. You could tell his mobility.
Yeah,
just wasn't there, and the Ravens kind of secondary showed up.
Yes,
where not that the Steelers were throwing bombs or anything, but definitely opening it up and using some of their guys and some good slants. And other than that horrible pass from Rodgers that sailed over the head, I forget, it was wide open.
Yeah.
He was pretty good. But at his age, it's kind of the good and the bad,
right?
With him, at this point in his career. So, but that's it. We got to get out of here. I could just talk all day here. Stay and talk. Talk football. We got to go.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff, guys. Appreciate it. Hit the like button on the way out. Good stuff. We'll see you tomorrow. Members only. Become a member. Members only show tomorrow. For Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back tomorrow on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. Members only edition of the Hitting the Books show. Until then, class dismissed.
Peace.